This is Leslie Muir, and I'm recording.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reid, and I'd like to thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time so that I can speak with you about a very important issue that's currently on the rise in our public school districts. From television sets in every room to phones that function more like computers than phones, technology defines our generation. We communicate through technology with texts, emails, while documenting our lives on Facebook, and we also use technology to divert our thoughts through online browsing and gaming. As a result, many high school districts are emerging to laptops rather than textbooks, and no case studies that are going on that are proving that this really is not helping as much as we think it is.
As an education major at my college, I was just wondering whether there's been research done proving whether or not it's helping students academically.
She asked if there's any research proving that this has been helpful to the students, and there actually has been a lot of research, even in Texas here actually. The Texas Center of Educational Research has one of the biggest ongoing one-to-one program studies, and they're showing that there's really no difference in the students' academic performance when they compare schools that have had this laptop program for 3 years compared to schools that have not even adopted the laptop program. So they have been doing a lot of research, especially here in Texas, and they're even showing that after 3 years of spending all of this money and using all of these tax dollars, that it's not really making a big difference in our academic success. Okay, well, I'd like to thank you all for coming and spending some time with me. If you have any other questions, I'd love to answer them after the speech, but I'm kind of on a time crunch, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. But thank you guys for coming. Classroom setting, in an attempt to keep up with society. However, this may not be the best choice for our schools or our students or your tax dollars. In my opinion, laptops are distracting and fragile, and they can also hinder the learning of middle school and high school students. And therefore, they should not replace textbooks, nor should they be a part of their daily classroom setting. Let me give you a little background about these laptop programs. The idea of implementing laptops instead of textbooks became a reality in the last 10 years. The laptop programs are officially referred to as one-to-one programs, one-to-one being the ratio of laptops to students. Almost every school district in Maine has adopted this program, 23 districts in Texas, 100 in Michigan, and plenty more, so there's lots of research being done on them. There are several valid reasons for this technological shift in our classrooms. One being that the school boards are trying to create a 21st century classroom. They're trying to bridge that gap between the students that don't have access to computers at home. Teachers and parents also like the idea that learning is now portable, as if books aren't. Schools are also dazzled by the idea that they won't have to spend money replacing their textbooks every 10 years. All of these reasons seem really reasonable, but they all have another side to them. I can attest to the fact that high school students are already distracted without having a screen in front of them as an excuse. I was there myself a little over a year ago. This is not necessarily a problem that we need to fix, because that's just how teenagers are. But handing these teenagers a piece of technology that they probably know more about than the teachers do is only going to make this problem bigger. In fact, teachers in districts that have adopted this program report having far more disciplinary problems than they did before the laptops were implemented. The schools that have begun this program have spent a lot of money on not just the laptops, but also their web restricting software, so that they can try to monitor the web surfing and the social networking going on behind their screens. However, the software that they're all spending money on is not exactly kid-proof, especially with the kids in today's society. In fact, there's a school in New York that was having a problem with this, and they spent extra money trying to tighten their website security, only to have a 10th grader hack through it and post detailed instructions on a website so that all of his classmates could also hack through it. I'm not stating that it's the school's responsibility to force their kids to pay attention in class, because students should have their own personal accountability. But can we really put all the blame on the students when they don't pay attention in class if we're the ones handing them an excuse not to? Aside from this expensive software that goes along with expensive laptops, the schools better be ready for some really expensive warranty. When kids get home from school and sling their backpacks on the ground and run to the kitchen to get a bite to eat, the textbooks handle this wear and tear just fine. In In fact, several times in high school, I myself had textbooks that were covered and duct taped them together, but those books were still usable. What happens when the laptops go through the same wear and tear? That's when that expensive warranty will come into play. But districts in Florida have reported spending over $100,000 in repairs that were not even covered by their warranty. In fact, a district in Maine, after 5 years of using this one-to-one program, finally gave up because of the expenses for repairs. Aside from just the cost of the repairs, 35% of students who were part of a study in Maine reported being without their laptops for at least a week while their laptops were going through repairs. This puts these students in a very difficult position. They're left without a laptop to keep up with in class for almost a week, and sometimes more than that in some cases. Had the students been using textbooks and notebooks to take their notes, this would not have been the issue. Another issue that arises from replacing textbooks with laptops is the credibility of the resources that our kids are putting on at a daily basis. We are encouraging students to research using current technology, which I believe is a good thing. It's a skill we need to know in this day and age. But laptops are providing students with access to huge amounts of information that may or may not be credible. You see, textbooks have to go through a number of school boards and be approved, and once they are approved, they're good for about 10 years. But this is not the case with websites. There are just too many of them for us to monitor. Parents of these students who have been given these laptops have complained that all their students are learning how to do is Google phrases and use fancy fonts. These are useful to an extent, but there's certain skills that are acquired through digging through books in a library or using your textbook that our kids today are losing. Students are also losing practice with basic writing skills. The SAT and the ACT don't have a typing section, and they don't provide spell check, dictionary, or thesauruses. So how can we expect our students to perform well in these testing situations when all your class is how to type quickly and right-click when they misspell? So all of these filtering softwares and the maintenance that have to be costing more than replacing textbooks every year just don't really seem worth it. Not to mention the initial cost of buying every single student a laptop. We're spending our tax dollars to provide students with glowing screens and distractions, and then spending more to repair them, a lot more than a piece of duct tape would cost. All of this money to keep up with technology only for laptops to be out of date in a year. In fact, some Klein schools have already adopted this one-to-one program, while others are still trying to decide whether or not they want to put laptops in our students' hands or tablets. As you can see, some of the Klein school districts, or some of the Klein schools that have already adopted the laptop program are already out of date according to other Klein schools. The negative aspects of this program are outweighing the positive. Schools are beginning to change the way our upcoming generation is going to be educated, but have they really even thought it through? And have you? I urge questions and take advantage of any opportunities you have and voice your opinions in your school board meetings. Technology is great, and we have a wealth of information at our fingertips, and we're more efficient than ever, but there is a time and a place for laptops, and the middle school and high school classrooms are not it. It makes no sense to spend money on changing something that's been working for so many years. Laptops are distracting, fragile, and faulty, while paper and textbooks will always be dependable. Thank you for listening, and I hope that I've helped you see that this is an issue we need to be addressing. Do I have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Do you feel like the companies that are providing these laptops are having a shift in the market?
She asked if the companies that are providing the laptops have made any shift in this, or have any, are playing a role in this shift. And they are, and as a matter of fact, and our students' academic performance is not what is driving them. Dell, HP, Apple, they're all profiting from this. And in fact, when I spoke about the Klein districts being the laptops and the tablets, one of the options of the tablets they're looking at is an HP tablet, and you can bet there's a contract in there for HP behind that. Also, Apple has locked in $41 million contracts, 4 years, with the Maine Department of Education. So yeah, they're a big, big part that's pushing this one-to-one program. And you have to wonder, are they doing this for the academic success of our kids? Are they doing this because it's a multi-millionaire project for them? Do I have any other questions?
I have a question. How long have the one-to-one programs been in place?
Well, these one-to-one programs have been in place a lot longer than you think. Maine adopted the first one about 10 years ago. And I was really surprised when I started doing this research how long we've been doing this, but how little we know about it. There's